Welcome back to Global News Morning. It's that time of week where we check in with our good friend Matt Lee, and wishing you a great morning. Matt, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good.
Good.
We're talking staging. It's a very important part of selling one's house or condo, and that is the people that want to move in want to see what it's going to look like with furniture.
Yeah, and not too much furniture. We have to find that happy medium. And what we look at is when I come in to price a home, I we do go through a list of ideas of what we can do to make the house look turnkey ready. And we can go from a list of removing things to having a dumpster come in and like taking things out to toss away, because if you're not going to keep them going to the next house, then maybe it's the time to get rid of it. And if you are going to keep it, how do we store it somewhere else
Mm,
to make sure that the house looks perfect? We want it to look as big as possible, but we don't want it to look empty. And I think
right.
that that's the middle ground.
It's a fascinating science. Sometimes it's an optical illusion.
It is. I mean, when you go in to look at a home that is vacant, um, and it happens to me as well, so I can see how it would happen to somebody that hasn't been into a lot of vacant homes. But you'll look at a certain room and you think, does my couch fit there? You'll get up to a bedroom that's a 10 by 10 bedroom or a 10 by 11 bedroom, and you say, can I get anything bigger than a single bed in here? And the answer is yes. It's just one of these things that if it's not actually there, it's really hard to actually picture the size that can be there. So if you have a couch in that room with one chair and a nice carpet, and or you have a double bed in the bedroom with one single desk that's small, then you can kind of set these things up that are staging, and it's more to allow the person to understand the size of the room and what you can put in there that is comfortable.
Let's talk about things on the wall, pictures, paintings,
Yeah,
artwork. You don't want to overdo it.
you don't want to overdo it. And I mean, I think that having a few pieces, because right now the trends are light floors, white walls, like and really natural light coming in and bright. So I think that having color pieces, nice big paintings, I think that that's a really good thing. We just don't want to overdo it. So if we would talk about going into a house, and if there was a wall that had picture after picture, we would talk about that and how to deal with that, because just taking a picture off the wall isn't that easy, because you're going to take a picture off the wall and then you got to pull a hook and then you got to patch it and then you got to paint it. So you got to think of all these steps of how you're going through and how much work it's going to entail to get to that point. Going to the other end of the spectrum and thinking, okay, we're walking into a house, somebody's lived there for many years, and there's lots of stuff there.
Mm.
What you want to do, from my point of view, is I want to talk to them about where they're going. And you say, okay, are we going to downsize? Are we going to a bigger home? What's the plan? Because if you're going to a bigger home, then your furniture is going to thin out a little bit. You're going to want to take that and you're going to want to put it in like the red pods. There's the pods that are out of between Gan and Kingston. You have those guys drop off a pod, you fill it full of your furniture, and they'll pick it up and move it somewhere. Like that's genius to me. You take it, you get rid of it until you're ready to use it.
It's a mobile
Uh,
storage facility.
it's a storage facility. Yeah, absolutely. You take care of that stuff. Or are you going to downsize to an apartment and you're in a house that's 2 story and it's 2,500 square feet? Now we have to talk about, are we auctioning stuff off? Are we giving stuff away, which is harder right now with COVID? Or are we getting rid of it? Because then we can talk about the plan of saying, okay, maybe we need a red bin from First Capital, or maybe we need to go and have things taken to a drop-off center where people are in need of certain things. Or are we going to have a company that is going to auction packages off? We have these different options that we can deal with, and we have to go through what it is. But the end goal is to have the house kind of in that happy medium. And what I do is when I go in, I talk to people about this and try to make it as easy as possible. We have these options. I know how to get there, so we just want to figure out what the person needs to make the house look the best.
And often someone going through a house for the first time looking at it wants to envision their things there.
That's right. And so I think, we've talked about this in the past where we take down a lot of personal items. If you have a wall of pictures of family, then I think that you take it down to one or two. Having it so that it feels homey is one thing.
Right.
Having it as somebody else's home, I would minimize it personally.
Remove fridge magnets as well.
Yeah, well, that's just a cleanup. Basically, have it look fresh and clean. You take everything off the fridge, you take everything off the counters, you have it so that it's that it looks really as big and clean as possible, and you get that natural light, lots of light, clean look.
Fresh baked cookies.
Sure, I'll take them. That'd be great. Don't overpower. Like, I think that, like, in regards to smells, I mean, that's a good one. I mean, if you're talking about how to stage, don't overpower with smells. If you plug something in, somebody's going to walk in and say, why is there two of these things plugged in? That people have sensitivity to odors. So I would say, like, something soft is nice, but I wouldn't try to overpower something. If there's a smell in the house, get the carpets cleaned, run a dehumidifier, get that smell out, but don't try to cover it with something else. I'm trying to keep it clean, bright, and a nice flow through the house. You're set up perfect.
Matt Lee, always a great conversation. We thank you so much. Be well and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.